Welcome, guys, to episode number 125 of the Followers of the Force podcast, live here on YouTube. So if you're watching, welcome. And if you're watching the replay, we hope you enjoy the show. Finally, on a week where we have this show, we have some big news. And it's exciting because we have a release date for something Star Wars, a visual for something Star Wars, and some confirmation on an upcoming series, and then we're actually going to lead off with a discussion that I know Jason and Emily had last week, but that we're going to have again, and that's Star Wars Visions. So we're going to lead off with that, and then going to talk about the Book of Boba Fett. So, Star Wars Visions. I know that you guys, as I mentioned, talked about it already, and you guys had lists, which I don't have a list, but I remember which episodes were my favorite.
Which were?
The Ninth Jedi was
Excellent.
probably number one for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that and the reason it's number one is because of of my top like 4 or 5. It was the one that I felt could be like a series.
Yeah.
You know, it lent itself to a continuation, and that's kind of like what they're doing with the Duel, which is the first episode that they released in the book Ronin. And that's why it's not in my number one spot, because I feel like I'm already getting what I would want after the story that we saw. So that's kind of fulfilled my need for that. And then obviously The Elder, I thought that one was like super. It gave me Phantom Menace vibes just because of it felt like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, just the two of them, and they're going out. So that was really cool. Let's see.
We talked about it on the show, but
yeah.
But was the Elder set during the High Republic? Because we couldn't really say for sure.
I
don't
books, so. Remember. I don't think so.
Because
when I watched it, nothing stood out to me that it was.
The only giveaway was that when they talked about the Padawan mentions, or that maybe that the mysterious whatever in the hills is a Sith, and the Master says, "Oh, they've been around for hundreds of years," whereas the sort of more prequel era is like they always say like 1,000 years.
Yeah, millennia. Yeah,
a millennium.
So that was why I was wondering.
I think that's some good detective work.
High Republic.
Yeah,
I'm gonna rewatch it with the magnifying glass.
Yeah. So I know that you guys, as I said, like 3 times already, I know you guys talked about it, but what were your favorites? Like, which episodes did you like, and did the series sort of meet your expectations of what you thought Visions was going to be, or did it kind of like surprise you? Ooh, this is getting a deep thought.
I don't know if it met my expectations.
No, I was just saying, see if Emily wanted to go first.
I really liked the Ninth Jedi and the Elder, like you said. I'm sorry, Jason. I think there's a lag, but what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say I put on you that you were the anime expert, so that's why I was gonna let you go first.
Yeah, which like I'm sure, like, even if there's one person watching this, that person knows anime more than I do. I watched a little bit of anime. a little bit. I liked it. The Village Bride was my favorite. I watched it twice, and the second time I got like weirdly emotional throughout, and I still don't understand why, but I think it was part of the music and the atmosphere. I really like the art style of that one. I tried to go in with an open mind because I knew that they were different stories and different art styles, and I did gravitate towards some over others. it surprised me that some of them did seem like they were targeting a younger audience, whereas some of them were targeting an older audience. And I guess that's not that surprising because Clone Wars kind of did that too.
Yeah.
Where it just like was not consistent. When I think of anime, I think of it targeting like almost an adult audience, whereas some of this and some of it felt like very like Western cartoony to me.
Yeah.
But overall, I really liked it. I think that the high points were very, very high. And like if you took out like the 3 episodes I didn't care for, then I'm left with things I really enjoyed.
Yeah, for sure. And I think The Village Bride looked the most like an anime, like something you would see. Just the vibe, the way the animation looked, and the story. It felt very much in that vein of, something that you'd be used to. But the one that I really liked too, and I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, was the last episode. I think it was called Lop and Ocho.
Oh, okay.
I really liked that one.
8th episode. Because the last
I thought it was
one
the last
was
episode.
Akakiri, I think.
Akakiri, yeah, we kept mispronouncing
me and Jason were
I've been pronouncing it like we mispronounced it, so.
Which one was that one again?
I did not pay attention.
Okay.
It's the one at the end where the Jedi, it starts at the beginning, the Jedi's crashing a B-Wing, and he's to help the princess because this like ugly Sith is like taking over, and he keeps having visions of killing someone he cares about. And so they get captured and separate, and the soldiers, they come out and fight the Jedi, and he kills them. And the Sith then reveals that the last one that he killed was the princess that he was in love with. And so the Sith says, to save her, I'll show you how to save her if you join me and become my apprentice or join me on the dark side. So he does. And so the last
sounds familiar.
The last shot is her sort of coming back alive, and they go off together. So
yeah, I did see a tweet this week that said it combined Anakin and Padme with Obi-Wan and Satine. It was like the perfect combination of their stories. And okay, yeah, I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I did not watch it very intently. In fact, I didn't even know that he was in love with her until Jason told me during the podcast. Like, oh, I missed a few things. But anyway, Lop and Ocho, Bunny Rabbit. It was good. It was a good episode.
I liked it. I wasn't expecting it to have the emotional weight that it did. Yeah. Like towards the end with the family that brings her in, and then it's the father against the daughter, and then the adopted daughter against the whatever. It was a really I really enjoyed it, but I think the reason that The Ninth Jedi was my favorite one, aside from what I said about it having the potential to continue, is just the twist I wasn't really expecting.
Yeah,
like,
it got me.
It caught me off guard. I was like, oh, all these people are here, to get the lightsabers and whatnot, and then oh nope, they're all Sith. That's great.
Yeah, even when they all turned red, I didn't get it. I'm like, oh, did her father make all these like secretly red lightsabers? And then I'm like, oh no, they're all evil. Okay.
Right. And I like.
If they'd have been smart, they'd have said that. They're like, oh no, I just turned it on into red. I don't know what you're talking about.
And I like
I just got a red one by mistake.
I like the manipulation of the lightsaber itself, how whoever's wielding it, it kind of forms to you. Cool, and the length of the blade, just the way, even the solidness of it. Because when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, that's a weird looking lightsaber. It almost seems kind of translucent. but then you realize, oh, it's your connection to the Force isn't as strong as it should be right now, or could be. And then, but it still works the same. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
How'd y'all feel about the Rock Band episode?
Jason made me appreciate it more.
Okay.
I liked it a little bit better than most people. I think, and as I said on the podcast, I said that when I watched it initially, I didn't care for it very much. But as we went through it, it became the only episode that did end in an epic lightsaber battle of all time. I started to appreciate it a little bit more. Plus, it was the only one set really in the Star Wars universe. I mean, it had Jabba the Hutt, and it takes place in the Boonta Eve arena, and it's got Boba Fett. It had Jabba the Hutt tapping his tail to the song. The only thing is the song wasn't very good. Or the two songs weren't very good, but
yeah.
My headcanon is that.
So I started to appreciate it.
Yeah.
My headcanon we talked about on the podcast is that, and I don't know any of their names, but that the Hutt that they were trying to kill is actually Stinky, Jabba's son, who is now a teenager and going through a rock band phase. So,
it seems like something that would happen. It really does. Okay, now I'm trying to think of the other episodes because I'm forgetting the names of the ones that didn't make my top 4 or 5.
Well,
did you guys like the twins episode? How did you guys feel about that one?
I liked it.
I liked this. I liked the second half. It took me a little bit to get used to the animation.
Yeah.
The animation it threw me off at the beginning, but then after like the halfway point, I was like, okay. The lightsaber
it was very
fight
like Astro Boy meets cartoon.
Yeah.
But and I don't like Pinocchio. I don't like Pinocchio's stories, like any rendition of it. But for some reason, it worked for this one because I like the thought that, because we're always told that the Force is like all about living things, but in Star Wars, the droids get so close to being sentient, and then it kind of blurs the line of what is life, and I like that this kind of crossed that line.
Yeah, no, for sure. It really did. Now that you mentioned the Astro Boy, that comparison, it really does remind me of that a lot. Which one was? I'm trying to think if there was another one that I liked, and it's just slipping my mind. But I think it was just the Duel, the Elder, Ninth Jedi, and La Pinocho. I think those were my 4, and then the Village Bride would be 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope that they do another season.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Do you guys think they would make all new stories, or would they do like half and half new and maybe do like part 2 of some of the ones from this season?
If I were working for Lucasfilm, I'd say, okay, half of them will be brand new stories, half of them, or even 3 of them, will be part 2 of things that people on Twitter tend to want more of.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with Emily. Just maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 tops. I think you would want to see again. And there's probably more that probably would be better. But I think that I like the idea of this being so disconnected from Star Wars that we know that I would like them just to sort of keep. I mean, because for the most part, except for maybe Tatooine Rhapsody, they just sort of played by their own rules, and maybe the Elder, I guess, but even still, the lightsabers in that one were more just like laser swords, different kind of laser swords.
Yeah.
So So yeah, I think I would like a mix of continuing stories and some new stuff, and maybe some new. I don't know all the permutations of anime styles, but if it could be like even just some different styles, I think would be interesting. So, but yeah, I'm all for.
Cool.
I heard somebody describe Visions as like the real What If, like the Star Wars version of like Marvel's What If, because the What If is so, even though it goes off this thing, it's still sort of so bound to the MCU, whereas this one, like this one's got a Jedi umbrella and or a lightsaber umbrella and fights off. This droid wears a hat. It's like completely. They kind of tossed the regular Star Wars rules out the windows for some of them, and that was really cool.
Right. And speaking
if I had
of
one complaint, it would be that not every episode has a massive lightsaber duel and isn't somehow strangely about a kyber crystal. Like 8 of the episodes were about a kyber crystal. It was like, okay, we get it, kyber crystals, we get it.
Yeah, so. That's fair. They did lean into that. But speaking of the lightsaber umbrellas and droids with hats, on October 12th, Ronin comes out. It is the accompanying novel to The Duel, and you follow literally where the episode ends. That's where you get the continuation of that story.
It's not like
cool.
No. It's like the sequel to
that episode.
To the episode, yeah. So
interesting.
I'm sure people have already put up their reviews of the book. The embargo lifted yesterday morning. So we'll have our spoiler review by the end of the week, and then a full spoiler review by the time the book is released. So that'll be in like 2 weeks. So make sure, if you haven't pre-ordered it, or if you're on the fence of buying it, please buy it. The book is amazing. And it's written in such a way that it's a very different sort of Star Wars book, in the sense that it's a very, like, while there's the action and the typical things you see in Star Wars, it's a very character driven book, and there's a lot of like introspective character moments which are really cool. So do that, buy it, and then come listen to our review for it. Moving on.
Or listen to the review and then buy it.
Yeah, right. Listen to the review and then buy it, or do what you want. At the end of the day,
check it out from your library.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So next on the list, we have some confirmation for Andor from Diego Luna himself, saying that Andor has wrapped and the series will be 12 episodes, which is, because I think The Mandalorian was what, 10 or 8? 8. Yeah. So 4 extra episodes, which is
twice as long as Kenobi.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, Kenobi's 6, right? Because that would be twice. 12 would be, 6. Yeah, I can math. So, do you guys think we'll get a trailer or behind the scenes thing? Because I know they showed a little bit last year, like a little behind the scenes thing for Andor. That was a lot of concept art. But do you guys think we'll get something new, or will they wait a little bit, depending on the release date of this show?
Yeah, I think they'll wait because there are other things on the horizon, as we will talk about.
Yes.
So, but
I think we'll get a little something. I don't think we're going to get.
Yeah.
I think we'll get a full blown trailer for something else that we'll talk about here in a minute. But I think we might get like a maybe like a behind the scenes interspersed with some, whatever shots they've got completed. Probably the same thing with Kenobi. I don't think we'll get a full trailer or anything for Kenobi, but we might get some stills, some, Hayden Christensen sitting in a director chair talking to the camera kind of deal.
Yeah.
So,
man, I think that's all I need for that show.
Yeah.
Like if I can just see those two
Yep.
in their costumes, I don't need a trailer at that point.
Yep.
I just
You don't even need a plot.
No. It could just be that
Yep.
for the 6 episodes, and I'd be like, this is great. This is great. And I don't know if you guys saw on Instagram, but the actress who plays Aunt Beru in the prequels, I forget her name now.
Bonnie.
And Bonnie.
Something.
Peas, P-I-S, I can spell
Yes.
it, but I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yes. Bonnie
She was
Wiseau.
the Val.
I
She's
would go on a whole
amazing.
tangent with that freaking documentary. But she has all the Kenobi merch. She took a picture with the hat and like a jacket and whatnot from the series, so that's cool. But yeah, so Andor coming soon. 12 episodes. We'll be reviewing each episode every week. Will we wake up at 3 a.m.? We'll see. I know I'll probably do it. I'll do what I did for the Mandalorian finale. I will watch the entire season that day and stay up to watch it at 3 a.m., which is a horrible idea because I had work the same morning, but it was worth it. Okay, now to the big story of the night, which will take us for the rest of the show. December 29th, we have a poster and we have a date.
It's kind of a weird release date.
I love how they're like coming, winter 2021 or December 2021. It's like you just sneaked it in on the 29th.
Yeah.
I mean, it's after Christmas, but before a lot of people have that week off with their families, so all right. It's just weird.
What day does the 29th fall on?
It's on a Wednesday.
It's
a Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah, it's the last Wednesday of December.
A lot of things released that week.
Yeah.
Weird.
That's interesting. Okay. So the first thing I want to ask you guys, because I saw it on Twitter from Clashing Sabers, another wonderful Star Wars podcast.
Yeah, they're great.
Where he said that to him it sounds like it's not going to be a one and done show because it says this series starts on December 29th. Like it's the wording of it. Like a new original series starting December 29th. Because I think they've made it pretty clear which ones are just a limited thing. Like Kenobi, they've said it's a limited series. Here are the episodes and that's going to be it. So do you guys think it's going to be a multiple season show, or is it just, we're reading too much into the wording of a tweet?
Well, it says that, and it also says his story is only beginning, so it does make you think.
I think it's probably going to be. I mean, look, if nobody likes it and nobody watches it, it's probably one and done. But if it's any good, then I think we'll definitely get 2 seasons out of it. Because also, if the big main plan to bring Ahsoka and it was going to be Knights of the New Republic, Rangers of the New Republic, Ahsoka, Mandalorian, and this show all into the same thing, then they're probably going to want to do more than one season. But I read the little synopsis of it. I mean, it isn't much, and it isn't really anything you couldn't pick up from watching that minute,
the post-credit scene
at the end of Mandalorian. But I do like the idea of like seeing, I'm guessing, the struggle of Boba Fett and Fennec Shand trying to take back Jabba's. Well, not take it back; they never had to begin with, but to take over Jabba's
Castle.
kingdom. Yeah, because it's been. Well, the thing is, it's been 5 years, so it's going to be, unless Bib ruled with an iron fist, which I doubt, which doesn't seem like he did. They got a lot to get back.
Yeah.
And I'm also kind of glad that that's the plot too. I mean, and I don't know if this is true or not, but a lot of people were speculating that it was going to be, Boba Fett settling old scores. He certainly will be, but I don't think we'll see any of the sort of classic Skywalker saga characters in it. I can't imagine that would see Luke or Han or Leia or Lando or anything like that. So and in a strange way, I'm happy because I they can be distracting, but who knows? I didn't want to see Luke at the end of the second season of Mandalorian. It was one of my favorite episodes, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, geez, remember when we did leading up to that episode? We were always like asking the question, and this was what, October of last year.
Yeah,
we were like, does Luke need to be in the show? It could take away from everything, and then he shows up, and a week later, we're like, oh my god, that was so cool.
That was amazing.
I no longer am gonna say who does and doesn't belong in a show, because while season 2 was very much a who's guest starring this week on The Mandalorian, it was still cool. Like it was cool to know that a lot of these characters that show up elsewhere, they do matter in the grand scheme of things. Because that was a criticism I had always had, was you're introducing all these characters in the books and the shows and events and in the video games and stuff, and you're never bringing it full circle. Finally, with The Mandalorian, I felt like they did that, along with Solo, and even The Last Jedi did it with certain little Easter eggs.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of tying the galaxy together with all those things, do you guys think that the series is going to be sort of in real time after the post-credit scene, or is it going to be is each episode going to be its own story, like going through the metaphorical book of Boba Fett, whatever that is?
Interesting.
I just kind of assumed that the kind of like the spine of the Mandalorian was the Grogu Mandalorian relationship. The spine of this one would be would be Boba Fett taking control of the syndicate or whatever it is, the Hutts.
Yeah.
And then there'll be, I'm sure there'll be like adventures within that. But if I had to guess that was like the main, somebody said, what's the show about? It's like, oh, it's about Boba Fett taking over Jabba's empire.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's like the elevator pitch for the show, but I'm sure there's going to be other things that happen within those. Is it 8 episodes or 6 episodes? Have they said how many episodes?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if they've said. If we're going, I'm just going to assume it's 8, just because it seems very much tied to The Mandalorian and the way that they do it. And I think the shows that are a part of that, culmination of that time, I think all of those will probably be 8 as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Emily, what do you think?
Well, when you say book, I immediately think Avatar: The Last Airbender because their seasons are called books.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like book 1 is water, book 2 is earth. Anyway, in The Mandalorian, are the episodes called chapters?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So it could just be like an interlude. Like now we're talking about Boba Fett in this part of the in this book. And then, okay, so Mandalorian has the 3rd season coming.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to be the last season?
I don't know.
Because I don't think that they're gonna, like, I think they'll play off of each other, but I don't think they'll compete with each other, you know?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if any of these have a concrete sort of end.
Yeah.
Or if they're keeping their
they're
options
definitely leading. So it's hard because, like, with Marvel shows, I've not seen that many of them, but they kind of play off of like the movies that are about to come out and help build that up. But this, you don't have like a movie that's coming out, but there is something building up because of the whole Bo-Katan thing, and you have Ahsoka is coming with her whole show, and they're bringing Thrawn into it too.
Yeah.
So I feel like they are all going somewhere.
Right.
But I don't know in what capacity.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point, because you're right. There isn't anything, theatrically speaking, that is around this time. It's just, it seems like we are moving forward with the movies. I think after episode 9, it's like, okay, that's done and over with. Not saying that certain characters can't appear again, but I don't think they're going to, episode 10, 11, 12. I think the shows is where we're going to keep filling gaps of the past, and maybe go even further, like with the Acolyte, and explore, things we've never seen and time periods we've never seen. But with this show, yeah, it's very weird. I don't know exactly what the plan is. And obviously nobody knows. We're not in those meetings and whatnot. But just purely speculating, it seems like it's not going to be a one and done, just because they're like, oh, his story's just beginning.
Yeah.
So that's where it tells me maybe like 2 or 3 seasons, maybe. Like, I think the only show that I know for sure is, at least right now, is only 3 seasons, is Ted Lasso, because Jason Sudeikis was like, no, it's a 3-season show, and that's it. So if other shows could be more definitive like that, I'd appreciate it.
It'd be great.
But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting question. I guess it'll depend on fan reaction, maybe, or if they just have a story for the first season and are maybe waiting to see how other things play out. I don't know.
Yeah, I will say this: the lesser, at least in my opinion, the lesser Marvel movies are the ones that are building the story and not necessarily just trying to be a good movie.
Yeah.
So my hope for the Book of Boba Fett is that it's just going to concentrate on being 8 really cool, really good Boba Fett stories, and not the building blocks of the season 1 of all of the Disney Plus Star Wars shows combined, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So that's my hope for it. I just want 8 really cool Boba Fett stories, and Fennec Shand. I hope that we get to see a little bit more of that relationship, because they clearly have some sort of connection, even going all the way back to that one episode of season 1 of The Mandalorian, when we find out now that he finds her in the desert. But so it was kind of something I was hoping we would see in the Bad Batch, the sort of genesis of the
season 2. I'm telling you.
Well,
season 2, you'll get that. I almost have no doubt.
Since we didn't see Boba and Omega get together in season 1 of Bad Batch, do you think we'll see it in season 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see it.
We're gonna see it.
But they won't spoil that by putting it in Book of Boba Fett. They're gonna wait and save that for
Right, but
Bad Batch,
adult
right?
Omega as like a cameo without her being like a major character, you know,
Right.
or even just a reference would be really cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, even just like an offhand mention of having a sister would be
Cool.
enough to get people excited. So
Yeah. Oof. That would be cool.
Sister.
Yeah, I just thought of that. Yeah, that because you can plant that seed without giving away anything.
Right.
You know?
And without hiring an actor.
Right. Who knows? Like, obviously, I don't want to be the person that tries to kill everybody off, but like when he says that, you don't know if she's still alive. You don't know if she's dead. You don't know if, you know, you don't know. You don't know what's happened to the character.
Well, that's what I mean.
So
So he could just say, you know, something about my sister, and then go on with whatever the rest of the dialogue is, and everybody who's seen Bad Batch will go, sister,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Do you think they're gonna do more with cloning? Like, I know that he's a bounty hunter and that's kind of his shtick, but Mandalorian focused on cloning so much, you know, maybe not so much, but there's a lot in there about them wanting to clone Grogu. Yeah. Do you think it's gonna tie in at all?
I think it could. I don't know. I think it could in the way that, okay, I'm trying to phrase this in such a way. I don't think that has anything to do with Boba Fett's objective in the show. I don't think he cares.
Oh no,
but I think it could be like something he's just kind of roped into.
Yeah,
you know,
it's always felt like they haven't gotten down to, you know, like they made him a clone in the prequels.
Yeah,
and so you all, you know, those dots have been connected for you, the viewer, but it's never really come out. But because he doesn't age as quickly, I feel like he knows better than anyone what it's like to have the life of a clone, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, he doesn't really think of himself. Because I'm going back to that conversation, that really quick conversation he has with Bo-Katan.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
In the last episode, he doesn't think of himself as a clone. He thinks of himself as Jango's son.
Yeah.
So I kind of always got that vibe from him that he thought he was maybe better.
Oh yeah.
The clones. Just that one episode where he's like, he sneaks in, he's trying to kill. He's trying to kill Mace, and he sneaks into the cloning facility to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he here's a thought: if they do flashbacks, do you think we'll see Daniel Logan?
Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Rachel, take the question. You just got in here. Do we see Daniel Logan in flashbacks in the Book of Boba Fett? Yes, no, maybe so.
Maybe. I feel like enough people on Twitter have been, because he's on Twitter, I think enough people have been talking about it that, I mean, if they are bringing in what they've heard fans say for a couple other things, it's a possibility.
Yeah.
How old is he right now? 34.
Daniel Logan is 34.
Yep.
I guess he's on. Wait, that's only 5 years older than I am. I'm gonna go crumple into dust now.
I know. I was in the shower last night, and for some reason, I was thinking about my age, and I realized I'm a year older. I've been a year older for months now than I like mentally thought I was.
Nice.
I'm like, oh, okay, that'll happen in like 2 years or 3. And I'm like, wait, nope.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry to be late. I just finished Visions, so.
Oh, yay!
Okay, what are your top 3
top 3
episodes?
I don't know if I can name them off the top of my head. I can tell you the ones I know I liked. I really liked The Village Bride. I'm going to forget The Elder was weird but cool.
Are you going through the list?
Yes.
Okay.
On the edge of my seat.
Yeah, I liked The Village Bride. I liked
So tell us why The Ninth Jedi was your favorite one.
I was about to say I think it's Village Bride, Elder, and Ninth Jedi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good decisions.
Good. I feel like that's the general consensus.
Yeah, that seems to be everybody's top 4 or 5. You throw in the Duel, and like it seems to be everybody's like top 4.
I liked the art in the Duel, but okay. So funny story. So I was waiting to watch with someone, but I watched the Duel because I was going to start reading Ronin, and I thought I needed to watch the Duel before I read it. And literally the first 25 pages is a recap. And I'm like, I could have saved myself like 20 minutes.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked The Ninth Jedi.
We were saying, like, at least for me, of all of the episodes, that one lends itself to a continuation as maybe like a series.
It does.
Because
I don't want them to turn
like
everything into a series, but I would love to see more from them.
Yeah. And the concept of just that lone rock with the light, it was super cool.
I liked a lot from all of them. I thought the twins was a little weird, but
with that lightsaber,
I loved it. I'm not gonna lie, but is one of the friend I was watching with was telling me that Trigger is known for being kind of an out there anime studio, and she's like, whoa, that was only like a 4 on the scale of how weird they can get. I'm like, it was pretty weird. She goes, oh, you've not seen anything yet. I'm like, okay.
That's good to know. I'm sure, and since it says season 1, you have to figure they're going to do more of this.
We were just talking about that. We were on a Discord call while we were watching, and because they're getting so much acclaim, we're wondering if there's season 2, because these are like big name anime studios. These aren't these are big name stuff. So they're probably all like, we get to play with Star Wars?
Oh, yeah. And you can tell that they're putting everything. Yeah. Like, while some of those may not be, like, your thing, they're putting everything they've got into those episodes.
Yeah. I need a soundtrack. The music is so good.
The music is really so good.
Yeah.
Of anything, that was the constant throughout, was the music.
Yeah.
But don't you love it though? Today, back to Book of Boba Fett. For once, news dropped on the day we have a news show.
I mentioned that,
instead of the day after.
Yeah, watch. We're gonna Boba Fett trailer tomorrow, though.
Yeah, right. And then we'll be like 2 weeks behind.
They announced that Andor was finished filming, and Diego Luna's like, oh yeah, you're going to see familiar faces. And my friends are like, is Rachel okay? I'm like, I've been screaming for 2 hours. I'm fine.
And we're talking about how it's going to be 12 episodes. It's 2 Kenobis.
Yeah,
so,
it's 2 Kenobis. Yeah.
Not that I'm gloating over everybody who's like, oh, the Obi-Wan show is going to be the pinnacle of next year. And I'm like, sorry, that was a very rude gesture to make on a live stream.
I don't know. I think
put a blurry censored thing over my hands half the time.
I gotcha. I think we'll get familiar faces in all of these.
I think we will too. I just was going on because we have this with Kenobi too, but Diego Luna talking about Andor says, well, I can talk more about this project than I could about other stuff because there's no way I can spoil the ending. And I'm like, thank you for reminding me. I needed the reminder.
Just to remind you, we all die at the end.
Just a reminder.
It's
the same thing as the Star Wars prequels, though. We knew where those were ending.
Right. My favorite, or my one wish, I just need Liam Neeson in Kenobi. That's
Yes.
if that happens.
And
I
I
don't
need
care
Bail
what happens.
Organa in Andor. I don't
He'll
think
be
that's
in it.
been confirmed. Mon Mothma has been confirmed.
If he was in Rogue One, he's gonna be in that one. I mean,
Yeah.
Jimmy Smits has no reason to be like, no, I don't want to be in it. He's gonna
I know. Yeah. Jimmy Smith doesn't say no to much.
Yeah.
He was
That's why
singing
I
in
want-
In the Heights a week or a couple months ago.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes from an actor was actually recently by Alfred Molina, who's reprising his role as Dr. Octavius in Spider-Man No Way Home. Was that I forgot what somebody asked him, but he's like, "Oh, I'll do anything. I'm a bit of a whore that way." I don't know why that quote always makes me laugh.
My husband and I just rewatched all the Spider-Man movies. Well, except for The Amazing Spider-Man 2. We have to rewatch them.
You know, I rewatched The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I remember not really liking it, and it's still not my favorite, but there are a lot of good moments in that movie.
Oh, good.
Never seen it.
I have a major crush on Andrew Garfield. And so the first time I'm like, you know, I like the Tobey Maguire ones, but they're not that bad. And you can like look at me and like, I don't remember them being that bad. And so we rewatched the first one and I'm like, he was great.
Yeah. of which one? The Amazing Spider-Man or the Tobey Maguire one?
Yeah. Well, if we rewatched the Tobey Maguire ones are still great too.
Yeah.
They're the third one he likes because he really likes Venom.
Yeah.
I don't know, this is a Star Wars podcast.
At this point we're nearing the end, so we can jump across fandoms for a second.
Wait, we're a Star Wars podcast?
They had too much on their agenda. You know, they wanted to do too much. It got lost.
Well, that was kind of the thing with Amazing Spider-Man 2, is it had you didn't just have Electro, but then you had the Green Goblin, and then there was a couple other villains that were like.
Then they introduced the Sinister Six at the very end.
Yeah,
like they have, I forget who it is walking through. I think it's Oscorp, and you see the tentacles for Doc Ock. You see the Vulture's wings.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I think another. I think the glider, and something else, and then you're just like, oh, okay, this is where this is going. And then, of course, recasting for the MCU. But talking about Spider-Man 3, Sam Raimi has talked about it so much where he was like, I never wanted to do Venom. Like I wanted to do, I think the original idea was to do Vulture for the third one. I forget who was going to be cast, but
he was going to make 4 and put Vulture in it.
Or 4, right.
And I think Malkovich was going to be the Vulture.
Yeah, John Malkovich was going to be, which I think he would have done a great job.
Oh yeah.
But the third one, he was like, I didn't want to put Venom in the movie. Like that was the studio telling me, put Venom in it, and then it just became another convoluted plot of Harry, Venom, Sandman.
And you can tell that the Sandman parts have so much soul to them, but doesn't serve the plot. Like you can tell, like there's a lot of heart there. Like the director wanted, you know, had a vision, but that it didn't make sense really with the plot of the movie. And so it was just,
I felt like if they would have kept it to just that villain for the movie, it would have been a really good movie, because at that point it's directly tied to Peter's life, with him being the one who actually shot Uncle Ben and everything. But no, they had to do another thing. And
I will say
y'all are saying words. I recognize them all.
You have
as
to watch
words.
the movies. You
haven't seen them?
I have not seen a single Spider-Man movie ever.
Rachel, I rewatched them and I was like, this is my childhood.
Yes.
Like
I've only seen 2 Batman movies in my
changed.
entire life. So
it was like a cinematic experience because it really like changed Superman.
2002, summer of 2002.
Because we had Batman movies before then, but they were so campy.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, was so real, and I remember like wanting to be Spider-Man as a little girl and like picturing myself swinging from building. It was amazing.
And a little fun fact, the scene in the first Spider-Man where they're in the cafeteria and Mary Jane slips and he catches her, that scene has no CG in it.
What?
They did 29 takes.
Oh my
And
god.
what they did was they put like the sticky material on the tray so that when it would hit it, it would stick. And it took him like 29 tries to finally get it right.
The same thing happened. I'm gonna talk about Twilight again.
Oh, good.
Of course you are.
We're getting into October. Why not?
In the Twilight movie, there's that dorky scene where he catches the apple and it looks like the book cover.
Yeah.
They did like 20 takes to get it too, but they had like the apple on the string and he had to catch it. Anyway, that's the other thing. It's like a time capsule. Mm-hmm. Watching those movies and then watching the Andrew Garfield movies too, because like I didn't realize that it's been so long since those movies came out. But rewatching them all, it's like you're going through time with technology.
Yeah. And the crazy thing that I always think of is Spider-Man 3 was released just less than a year before Iron Man.
Oh yeah.
Like you think that there's this big gap between that and the start of the MCU, but it was just months.
Yeah. I mean, like,
and it's crazy.
I think it built, like, the MCU stands on the shoulders of the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Like, it really,
100%.
like, set the stage.
Yeah. The Spider-Man movies.
I didn't know I was as passionate
No, it's true.
We're learning so much about each other.
Like, Blade was the first. I think Blade was 98, 97, 98, something like that. And then X-Men, and then Spider-Man, and then the Fantastic Four in the mid-2000s. And then
but the thing
Iron
about
Man.
Spider-Man is that it's like lighter, like the other Superman. They try to be too angsty and like dark.
Oh, I love a gritty superhero
and like
movie.
I do love the Dark Knight. It's very good.
But that's like DC. That's DC's thing.
Right. But Spider-Man is just like, it appeals to everyone.
Right.
Kids, old people.
Right.
Doesn't matter. I remember we took my dad to the movies with us, and we like don't do that. Like, Dad doesn't see movies unless they're like war movies, and he liked it. And he won a Dr. Pepper contest and won a Spider-Man shirt.
Whoa.
And I think he still has it.
Hell yeah.
It was a bonding experience.
You've got no idea how much I hope to see both Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man No Way Home. If I get the Danny Elfman theme from the original Spider-Man in that movie, I will
He's just gonna die.
Oh,
I will cry. I mean, I've got the guy on my arm. I will just weep because.
Now, wait, which version of Spider-Man do you have on your arm? Is it
Tobey Maguire?
It's Tobey Maguire one. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Eyes.
There is. They all have their own suits and their own
different,
personalities too. Yeah. And I love all of them.
Yeah. Like, it's just the Raimi suit for me. It's the first superhero costume I saw on screen. And the detail on it, like the webbing, how it's pronounced, and it's like that gray silver color. It's
it's beautiful.
I mean, and I really like I know a lot of people don't like it because it's a little different, but I really like the suit from The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like it's very realistic the way that
very realistic.
If he were actually making a suit in 2011, he'd be like, you know what? I need, spandex. I need to like wear this with some sort of sneakers. I need to, he took the sunglasses, like the glasses part of the sunglasses, and he fashioned those into the mask. I was like, it makes sense.
Yeah. I love how the small detail in all the Spider-Man movies is that he's like really good at sewing. Like,
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to sew stretch fabric? Like,
right?
Yeah.
I sew and I can't sew stretch fabric.
Every time I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I always liked the Tobey Maguire movies, but I always hated the scene, and it happens in all three of them, where in the end fight, he somehow either takes his mask off or his mask just comes off. Like,
yeah,
I'm like, you're Spider-Man. Keep the damn mask on. What are you
doing? The only thing I'll say about that is that while he does do that, he never says his name.
Well, I just think it's I always imagined it was something in Tobey Maguire's contract where it has to be like, at the end, you have to show everybody that it's really me in the suit.
I think okay.
Guy.
Andrew Garfield takes his mask off a lot more, and I think it's because he was handsome. They had to.
That's my biggest thing with. That's my biggest thing with the Tom Holland Spider-Man is I'm just like, dude, stop telling everybody you're freaking Spider-Man.
But to be honest, though, that's the most realistic portrayal, because you think a teenager could shut the hell up about being Spider?
Yeah.
That's my thing, right? There's people right now that keep telling me that all of these like high schoolers against COVID and these kids at school shootings, they're all crisis actors. I'm like, have you ever met a teenager? Have you ever tried to work with large groups of teenagers?
Right.
They can't keep a secret and they can't be quiet.
That's true. That's true. I don't know. I'm just used to. I don't know. And I guess this is what Spider-Man No Way Home is gonna actually, talk about is, what happens when everybody does know Peter's Spider-Man. You know. Hello, Old Republic podcast. We're actually talking about Spider-Man right now.
You want to weigh in?
Yeah, we're talking about
Who's your favorite?
Just all the Spider-Man
I
stuff
really
right
like Into the Spider-Verse too.
Me too.
It's so
I love
good.
it.
When
I haven't seen it yet.
Rachel, you would like that one. It's hard.
I know, that's what I've heard.
I'm just gonna say, talking about Spider-Man 3 and Into the Spider-Verse, I love how they referenced the little dance that Tobey does Into the Spider-Verse. I thought that was great.
They know. I love it when a franchise knows.
Yeah. Which now
knows
Spider-Man
how to
3. Yeah, I think now Spider-Man 3, if you ask people if you like it, I think the large majority of people will be like, yeah, I like that movie now. Because we've lived with it for 14 years now, and those moments have become just so iconic in their own way. Like the lines and stuff and the memes that have been used from that movie alone. It's just so funny.
Yeah, it was really funny when I rewatched it. Like, it was like 2 weeks ago, because there was a point where it was like I was watching it for the first time.
Yeah.
And I think like when I watched it originally, after the dancing part, I just like totally tapped out or like fell asleep, because I'm like, oh, I didn't know any of this happened.
Yeah. It's so great.
Yeah, but the second one, like, I rewatched it this time going in knowing that that's like everyone's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before, like, I had never been that tied to it.
Yeah.
But it is really good, and I liked it because it took its time.
Mm-hmm.
Completely opposite from the third one. Like, it really it just told the story. It wasn't focused on the action or the villain. The train scene is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Good movies. Good rewatches.
I really hope he's in this movie. Like, I really, really do.
David will just we won't be able to hear from him for like 4 days.
Listen, if he shows up, like, honestly, I'm looking forward to this movie more than I was looking forward to episode 9.
Oh wow!
Like, this is my like thing. Is I think Spider-Man might have been the first movie I really remember seeing in the theater.
Oh, you're so
While, I know.
It was an event, Rachel.
It's
not my first, but
the first movie I remember seeing in the theater was The Lion King. Okay, I'm old.
Yeah, first one was Phantom Menace, but
I was going to say I don't remember Lion King that much, but Hercules maybe. I remember seeing Hercules.
Yeah. Well, and the Spider-Man, the first movie has like that. It was when opening credits were still
a thing.
Yeah.
And it's so long, and it's just like webbing.
Yeah.
And it goes, but then all the movies do that after,
Yeah.
But I remember that vividly.
Yeah.
Because like as a little kid, you're like dying to get to the actual movie.
You know what? Speaking of opening credits, you know what we need to bring into like opening credits now? You guys have seen the James Bond movie, right? With the big psalm open. That's what we need for opening credits. You got to have the cold open, and then you have to have the very fancy credits again.
Right.
Speaking of which, like T-minus 2 weeks. So ready.
Oh, yeah.
I've been waiting.
Yeah. This year it's Billie Eilish's song.
Wait, what happened?
The new James Bond movie comes out in 2 weeks.
No Time to Die.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Which I have the song on vinyl.
I have watched all 24 James Bond movies since quarantine started, and I'm now rewatching the Daniel Craig ones because that's what I was doing with my life today at work while I made my cosplay arm wraps that I'm still working on.
Nice. Oh,
so
well,
I'm crunching so hard it's not even funny.
I think the first movie I remember seeing in theaters was Titanic, and I was too young to be there.
I was going to say, I was too young to see Titanic, and I think, a couple years older than you.
You're a little older than me. Yeah, a year. I think a year.
And I turned 30 in March, so.
Okay, 2 years.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was too young to see Titanic when it came out, so you were deaf.
Oh, jeez. Well, guys. Are y'all ready to call it? Or y'all have more to talk about?
I'm good.
This has been the Spider-Man podcast.
Yeah, it's been the Spider-Man
podcast.
podcast.
On Saturday for our real.
Wait until like December 18th is all I'm going to be talking about. But
we're going to just start. We'll have to make sure that I get onto the control room and I'll just mute David and we'll just let him talk.
But thank you guys for tuning in to the show tonight. I know it was half Star Wars and half Marvel at the end, but we appreciate you guys. Remember, we've got episodes coming out on Monday at 11 a.m. We got a review for Ronin coming out by the end of the week, and then a spoiler review when the book comes out on October 12th. Do not forget to buy it. Buy it. It's super good. And we've got some Your Star Wars Journey episodes coming out next week. Happy hour this Saturday. And next week is our off week for the news show. So just keep an eye out on stuff. And
which means that next week's the week they're going to drop all the news.
Right. So just that's your barometer for that. Just remember, when we're not on, Star Wars is usually dropping everything. So until next time, guys, may the Force be with you always. Oh, yeah.